Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought we would do a little bit of a TBR moment for July. It is July 3rd when I'm filming this, and tomorrow is the 4th of July, so I want to go over the books that I'm planning to read in July. June was a little bit of a busy month at work, and so I didn't have as much time for reading, and honestly most of the month was spent reading 2 books, which I'm going to talk about, that I still haven't finished. So I am planning on having a little bit of a bigger TBR for July. I want to be more ambitious and I want to spend a lot of time this month reading, because once we get into August and September, it's going to be extremely busy for me, traveling wise, work wise, all of that. So I want to try to prioritize reading in July while I'm a little bit less busy towards the beginning of the month. That being said, I don't really have a wrap up because, like I said, it was an extremely busy month for me and I didn't get to read as much as I would have liked to, but I am definitely prioritizing reading in the month of July and have a lot of exciting books that I want to get to. So first up, we have the 2 books that I spent almost the entire month of June reading, and that is Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn by Sarah J. Maas. These are, I think, the 5th and 6th books. I'm not counting Assassin's Blade as a book because it's a series of novellas, but the 5th and 6th of like official book in Throne of Glass. These have taken me a lot of time. I am almost done with both of them. You can kind of see I'm like towards the end with both of them, but I am really enjoying them. They are just taking me a long time to get through because in total this is like over 1,200 pages. It is just kind of taking a lot of time to go back and forth doing the tandem read, but I am planning on finishing these this month, hopefully this week. Honestly, I really want to wrap this up and that way I can get on to the next book in the series, which is Kingdom of Ash. And honestly, I think this book is probably going to be the book that takes me the longest to read this month because it is almost 1,000 pages long in and of itself. So this is kind of the conclusion to the Throne of Glass series, and I'm not gonna lie guys, I am not ready for the series to be over. I have been buddy reading it with one of my best friends and it has just been so much fun. I love being able to like send video messages back and forth talking about it, and I just feel like I've become so immersed in this world and so like I feel like entrenched in these friendships and relationships, and I just love the characters so much. They feel like friends to me, and I feel like Sarah J. Maas has a way with that with her characters where they aren't really like fictional people that you're reading about. Like to you, they feel like they're your friends and people that you know, and I think that that signifies really amazing and just next level writing. So these 3 books are on my TBR for July. Ambitious, maybe, but I think if I really dedicate myself, I can get these done. And I think I'm honestly gonna eat up Kingdom of Ash because once I'm done with Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn, I really think that I'm going to like need to know what's gonna happen next. And knowing that it's the conclusion and it's the only book that is separating me from being done with the series, I think it's gonna kind of motivate me to jump into this sooner this month. I do want to kind of experiment with genres. I started The Ministry of Time last month. I didn't get very far. I think I'm like maybe 13 pages into this book, so I'm like really not far at all, but I would love to read this and finish it this month because I've been hearing a lot of great things about it, just some like really amazing reviews, and I think it would be interesting to explore a new genre. I am strictly a romantasy and romance girly, but I really want to get into other genres this year. That isn't honestly something that I've been prioritizing the first half of the year, so I want to try to integrate that and kind of incorporate that mindset of like, let me experiment with different genres into the second half of the year, and just moving forward I want to be a little bit more diverse with the genres that I'm reaching for, and you'll see that also with the next book. But this book is kind of like a time traveling book, and it's about this girl who she gets a job with this like agency, and she gets assigned to help this basically like this subject from the past. He is like sent to the present and he has to adjust to things that, you know, he's never experienced before that didn't exist back in his time. And I think there is a little bit of like a romance element going on, but I have just heard that the writing is really great and that the storytelling is next level and that it's just a really creative concept. So I'm really intrigued and I really want to read this, and I feel like it's a little bit out of my comfort zone, so I'm hoping to pick this up this month. Next, I just recently picked this up. It's called Annie Bot by Sierra Greer, and the blurb on the front is a little intense. But basically this is a exploration of humanity, humanism. It's about a woman named Annie who's a robot actually, and she's kind of like created to be the perfect partner for her owner. So it's kind of exploring the morality of that. At least that's what I think this is about. I don't really know, but it is a newer book, I believe, and I am really intrigued by this. I've heard a few people talk about this and say that they want to pick it up, so I'm excited also. And plus it's like pretty short, so I feel like it's not too much of a time commitment and might be a good palate cleanser this month. And before we get to August, I am so determined to read some cute little romances here and there. So this month I would really like to read Summer Romance by Annabelle Monaghan. The reason that I want to read this is because I haven't read any of her books, but I feel like she's becoming a really popular romance author, and I've heard that she explores other themes besides romance in her books, whereas they almost feel like literary fiction or women's fiction with a subplot of romance, and I love that kind of vibe. Like, I feel like that's the vibe that Emily Henry gives, and you know, Emily Henry is one of my favorite authors of all time. So I am really looking forward to reading this, and I've been wanting to read it for a while, so this is definitely on my list this month. It's kind of about this woman whose life is kind of falling apart, and when she least expects it, somebody comes into her life. And I think it explores a lot of themes like divorce and grief and things like that, so it's a lot deeper than a romance, and I'm really looking forward to picking this up this month. I also would love to read Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. I'm gonna be honest, you guys, I haven't been hearing the best things about this, but I have read a few Ali Hazelwood books and I really liked the other two that I read. I think I read The Love Hypothesis and Bride, and I really liked Bride minus some little things, but her writing is just really engaging, and it's just like so quick, and she's so witty and funny in her writing. So I picked this up recently and I'm excited to jump in and see how it's gonna be. Wow, I did not realize there was some art in here. Anyways, I've heard that this is definitely one of her more spicy books, and spice doesn't usually bother me too much, but I definitely have a threshold. I definitely feel like there's a good balance with spice, so I've been hearing that this might have a little bit too much, and I am excited to kind of see how I feel about it, because I feel like certain books, like when I read Done and Dusted, that was way too much and it just took it way too far where it wasn't enjoyable at all for me. But other books that have it, I've never really had an issue with, and I've never had to like put a book down because of it. I am a little unsure of how I'm going to feel about it going into it, but I definitely want to read it for myself and see what I think. The last book that's on my radar this month is The Cheat Sheet by Sarah Adams. I've never read this book, but I did read When in Rome by her, and I actually ended up giving that 5 stars. I definitely want to read one of her other books, and she had a book called The Rule Book that came out this summer, and I've been wanting to read that, but I think it's part of like an interconnected standalone series with this book, so I would love to read this first before I jump into that. I've heard that this is just a really quick, fun, you know, non-committal romance book, and I think it's like a sports romance. So I think she's like a ballerina and he's a football player, and it's like one of those situations. So I also think that it's best friends, like best friends to lovers, which is one of my favorite tropes. So I am really looking forward to just jumping into this and having it be something that I don't really have to put a lot of brain power into, but that's just like enjoyable and fun and nothing too crazy. I'm grabbing my Kindle to check and make sure that there's nothing on here that I want to read. I do want to try and finish The Duke and I, which is the first book in the Bridgerton series this month, because I started that and I'm almost like 60% through it and I still haven't finished it. So that would be a really great, you know, thing to check off my list this month. But other than that, I'm pretty sure that is everything on my list. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I feel like it's going to be pretty short, but I just kind of wanted to get it out there and show you the books that are on my radar this month and what I am planning to read in July. Obviously, I will keep you updated throughout the month and let you know how things are going. Hopefully I will be able to tackle this and finish these 3 absolute big books this month pretty soon, but this has been taking a lot of my brain power, these 2 in particular. I think Tower of Dawn, it was really interesting for the first half, like I was super invested in it, and then I feel like towards, not even the first half, but like the first like 2/3 of the book I was really interested in, but then like around this part of the book, I feel like I stopped being as interested in the plotline because we started to get like another perspective a little bit more that I didn't care as much about and I didn't enjoy being in. So I feel like I'm kind of trudging along through that perspective every time it comes up, and it's not really anything that I care about too much. This one is like almost the complete opposite. I was like so not really that invested for the first half of this, but then it got so crazy and interesting, and now I'm way more invested in this book than I am in Tower of Dawn. So I can definitely see why people dislike Tower of Dawn, because it is kind of trudging along at the end, but I did really enjoy the beginning of this. So I don't know how I'm gonna rate it, but this one is really picking up towards the end and it's becoming like hard to put down. Like I'm definitely super invested in what's going on here, so I'm excited to finish this, and I'm actually like really looking forward to laying down and reading this tonight before I go to bed. And then I have absolutely no idea what's going to happen in this book, but I know it's going to be mind-blowing and crazy, and I'm probably going to bawl my eyes out because if I know anything about Sarah J Maas, the woman knows how to make me cry. So yeah, these are all of the books on my July TBR. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. Comment down below what you're planning to read in the month of July, and subscribe to my channel for more book content and life vlogs and things of that nature. And that's all that I have for you guys, so I will talk to you very soon in my next video. You gonna say bye-bye? Now I gotta put all these books back, which is gonna take me a long time.